All right. So again, welcome everyone to the virtual work study student orientation. Welcome to the fall quarter. I know we have a lot of students. Some of you might be new to UCR. So just an official welcome from the university. We're excited to have you here in a short couple weeks. So my name is Michelle Gomez. I work here in the Career Center, and my role supports with recruitment. We work both with our employer partners for the work study program, and we support students with Handshake as well as kind of finding those work study positions. So it's wonderful to be here with you all, and I will pass it over to Monica.
Hi, everyone. Good morning. My name is Monica Martinez Daniels. I work in the financial aid office, and we help with more of the behind the scenes side of work study. I'll pass it over to my colleague, Alex.
Hi, my name's Alex. I'm Mayor. I also work in the financial aid office. And yeah, I work mostly with approving student employment contracts for right now. So I'll pass it back to Michelle.
All right. So you all, just so you know, you have a team of folks here to support you with your work study process. And hopefully today we will have a chance for you to ask your questions as well. So if there's anything that's not captured, please do ask. This is your time. And we want you to make sure that you leave here having all of those questions answered. So with that, we will go ahead and get started. All right. So what to expect for today? The topics we're going to be covering, for those of you, again, who are new to the work study program, we're going to give you just a quick overview. What is work study, as well as some new changes that have happened this past year. What are the benefits of using work study? Obviously, you all have the option whether or not to use your work study award. Strategies for finding a job. How to apply for the job, as well as how to get hired and paid. So again, all really important details. So to start with, how or what is work study? So work study is a program that's funded by the federal and now state governments, and that's part of some of the exciting updates we will be sharing in a moment. You can obtain this work study award on and off campus. So our partners for work study, again, you're going to see a majority of opportunities are going to be on campus, but we do have some off-campus partners that have approved contracts with us that also you would be able to utilize your work study award for. And then another thing is great to know is work study does not have to be repaid. This is a job that you will be applying for. You will be working and earning a wage, and this money will be paid to you. And again, it does not have to be repaid. And I'm going to go ahead and ask Alex to jump in on this slide here.
So work study has now expanded. We only used to have the traditional federal work study program that has most on-campus jobs and some of the off-campus jobs, but now we have introduced the Learning Aligned Employment Program, which is LAPE, and that is the state work study program now that is mostly to do with funding research-based positions on campus for right now. So this program so LAPE is, like I said, is for really only research-based positions that will align with your career goals. And how you are eligible for this is if you are eligible for work study and you work an on-campus research-based position, then you are most likely eligible for LAPE. You can apply to these positions, or if you are currently already working a a research-based position, especially if it is unpaid, you can talk to your supervisor or any faculty member in that department and talk about getting it as a late position. Yeah. Okay, so I'll bring it back to Michelle.
Thank you, Alex. And I would just add, I'll have Monica put in the chat. There's an email that we would recommend if that is you and you'd like to be part of the late program and get paid for some of the research maybe you're already doing. We would recommend for your faculty or supervisor to contact us at workstudy@ucr.edu. So she'll put that email in the chat, but that would be kind of the action step for you to take. All right. So as Alex mentioned, work study is kind of the overarching umbrella for the program. And now you have two different options. You have federal work study, which is going to cover probably 90% of the opportunities that we have here on campus. And then now we have this new LAPE program that is under the work study umbrella. Both of those options are going to follow the same process, the same eligibility, all of those things. If you have a work study award, you are also LAPE eligible. So you're going to be hearing us use work study, which again is going to be inclusive of both of those programs. So I just wanted to clarify and make sure you all knew what we meant by that. So what are the benefits of using your work study award? Obviously, this is going to help you with your educational expenses. This is really the heart of why this program exists, is we know many of you are balancing you're balancing your education. Some of you have to work in order to support family. And so this is a need-based program. And so this is the opportunity for you to be able to get a job that's going to help you with some of those expenses. You're also going to be able to have flexible hours. Work study employers understand you are a student, so they're going to be more likely to work with your schedules versus another just part-time job. Also, you're going to be able to gain experience, skills, and network. This is an excellent opportunity for many of you. I would imagine this might be your first job. So definitely coming from the Career Center, any experience is going to be good experience. It's going to help you be better prepared for when you graduate. And you're going to gain really relevant skills towards whatever your career goals are. All right, so who hires work study students? So as we mentioned, there are both on-campus employers as well as off-campus. So any on-campus department can offer work study. However, not all campus jobs are work study. The big differentiator is that the on-campus department has to post their position on Handshake. So you might be walking by and see a sign on one of the department's, doors that says, "Hey, we're hiring." And that's great. They might have their own application process, but in order to use your work study award, it would have to be a job that is posted in Handshake. So that's part of our job. We're trying to really promote and get on-campus departments to utilize work study. But just to clarify that there is a difference. For off-campus employers, as I mentioned before, they have to be an approved off-campus employer. They have to have a contract with us, and their positions need to fit kind of the specific classifications for the program. So typically you're going to see local school districts or nonprofits that would be part of those off-campus employers. So probably your job at Panera or, wherever your part-time job off campus, most likely may not be able to be a work study position, but I would say if you think maybe it could fit, please do contact us. We're always happy to look into developing new partners, but again, they would have to have that posting in Handshake and be an approved employer. So just to get a feel for what types of positions you might see, you're going to see various kinds of positions. And, for you who maybe might be looking for opportunities that are going to really help you get those skills and experiences that are going to help you to your career goals, there's a lot of opportunities. So everything from data management, I know environmental health and safety has a variety of roles, customer service roles. You'll see a lot of folks who will be doing working with people, administrative positions, tutoring positions. Those, again, that's more of our off-campus partners, community service, doing work that's going to benefit the community. And then now with LAPE, research-based positions will also be included as part of that. So as you can see, lots of different opportunities. So, important question to ask is, do you have work study? So this is how you will know. When you log into our web, well, first of all, you should have received in your financial aid award letter, it should show if you have been awarded work study. So the steps that you'll need to take to accept your award is you have to log into our web, go to financial aid, click on the award, and then the award year, and then you need to accept that award. So that's a really important step. You might have been awarded work study, but you need to physically go in to our web to accept it. Once you do that, you will gain access to be able to now view and apply for those jobs. And something that's really important here to note, your work study award is not a given you're going to be awarded work study again next year. So we like to say if you don't use your work study award, you could lose it. So it is based also on utilization of the awards. So just something to be mindful of if that's something you're really depending on. All right, so here are some important dates for you to be mindful of, and apologies, the format came out a little funky here, but so August 21st is the first date that we made work study jobs live. So for those of you who already have logged into Handshake, you've accepted your award, you would already be able to go in and view jobs now. And they are coming in daily. We're getting new positions every day that are being posted. Starting September 18th, so some of you might already be doing interviews, and maybe even some of you already have an offer, or you might even be a returning student with a similar employer. There is an onboarding process, which we'll get into in a moment. Once you've been cleared, the earliest you can actually start utilizing work study is going to be September 18th. So that's coming up this coming Sunday. So again, for those employers, those departments or off-campus employers, they might be very eager to get you started, but that's the earliest you can officially start pending that you've been cleared. And you can work up to 19 hours a week while you are enrolled in classes. There are some weeks in the school year where you have a break. So we have winter break and we also have spring break. And on those weeks, you actually can work up to 39 hours. So again, that's a conversation with your supervisor if that's in fact something that you would like to take advantage of. And then the last day that you can utilize your work study funding is going to be June 22nd, 2024. So that'll take you through the end of spring quarter. So again, your timeline for applying the jobs is really going to depend on your needs and your goals. If you're a new student, you may want to consider kind of taking some time to adjust to college before you kind of jump into a work study job. But again, I won't make that decision for you. But there is time. We do have employers that, I mean, yes, fall recruiting is a heavy time when a lot of departments are looking to fill their roles, but there are departments that are looking to fill roles throughout the year. So if you don't find it right away, don't get discouraged. You know, there'll definitely still be opportunities. All right. So just some reminders. So again, just because you've accepted a work study award doesn't entitle you to a job. There is a job search. Just like any other job, you still have to put in the work to find the job, to apply, to interview, to get the job. So that's really where the Career Center, we're here to support you. We do have a variety of resources we'll get into in a moment that can help you with that journey. Jobs are highly competitive. So I'm sure for those of you who've already started, there are some departments more than others that get a good number of applications. So I think putting your best foot forward to be able to work on that resume, take the time to really showcase the skills and experiences you have had, and show your interest in that department is really going to help you to stand out. So again, these are real jobs. So in the same way, taking every opportunity to make an impression and put your best foot forward, show up on time, be courteous, act responsibly, you know, um, I will say this because it is a little bit of a pet peeve for me, and I know some of you are still, learning. If you're going to have an interview, plan to turn your camera on if you can. We understand some people, you might have technical issues. Let your interviewer know that. But again, this is your opportunity to really stand out and put your best foot forward. So there's little things like that you can do to really make an impression. Again, not all jobs get posted. So as we mentioned before, if you see a department that's hiring, you are work study eligible, maybe ask, would they be willing to hire you as a work study student? Then all they would need to do is post their position on Handshake and proceed with their hiring process. So that's definitely possible. And then again, it's really important that you maintain at least a 2.0 GPA. That could ruin your eligibility for the program. So again, that academic standing is really, really key. All right, so this is just a screenshot. We do have a resource on our website for you that really outlines the process. I will say we are hoping to we're currently making some changes and redesign to our website. So I would check later this week, hoping to have everything ready for you all with some of these resources. But this is a document that will help you walk you through the application and the hiring process. All right, so now we're going to talk a little bit about how to find work-study jobs. So by a quick show of hands, since I think we're all a little more savvy with using Zoom, how many of you know about Handshake or have been on Handshake? Okay. All right. All right. I'd say a good number, but then there's a good number who haven't. So great. So just for those of you who are maybe new to Handshake, Handshake is a primary job search tool that we use here on campus. There are thousands of positions that are posted, and everything you can imagine, full-time internships, part-time jobs, volunteer. We post our events. We have resources. It curates jobs for you based on whatever your interests are. So if you don't know about Handshake, that is going to be numero uno. You want to make sure that you get acquainted with Handshake. Handshake is, again, the tool that you are going to find those work study jobs. It's the place where we are able to vet those work study postings and where you're going to find those positions. So, and I'm realizing it's not on the slide, but I'm going to go ahead and put the link to Handshake for those who are new to Handshake. It's just ucr.joinhandshake.com. Go ahead and bookmark it. So once you've logged into Handshake and you're going to log in, connecting to UC Riverside as a school, once you've logged in, you're going to click on jobs. You're going to click on all filters, and then you're going to see, and apologies, this screenshot's a little fuzzy, but there's going to be a filter with a button for work study. You will only see that button if you've accepted your award on our web. If you have not accepted your award and you log into Handshake, you're not going to have access to those jobs yet. It can take up to 48 hours, so just be patient. If you literally have just accepted your award today, give it a couple days. But that we do have a process on the back end where we are able to give access as you accept it. All right. Again, I know we're giving a lot of information, so please, if there are questions, feel free to go ahead and put any in the chat. And again, we'll get to them here shortly. So now we're going to talk about preparing for your job search. We're not going to go all in on these topics because there's a lot to discuss, and each of you have different needs and goals. And again, we'll talk about what those resources are for you, but just some brief tips for you as you are preparing for your job search. So again, your resume is going to be your first impression to an employer. So again, for those of you who may be newer to creating a resume, some things that you would want to include are going to be your contact information, obviously an email, and a phone number. You do not need to put an address. I would actually not recommend putting an address. Put your education, let them know, employers are interested in knowing, what are you studying? If you have taken some classes, what are some key classes that maybe would show some of your knowledge or skills that you've gained as a student? And you're going to probably put that towards the top, because I would imagine many of you maybe haven't had too many jobs, so you're not going to have a ton under your experience section just yet. But for those of you who have, maybe you've worked part-time jobs or you've done volunteer, you could create an experience section. And I would say at this point, a lot of these experiences are relevant. So don't discredit some of the experiences you've had, especially if you've worked in teams, you've had to problem solve, you've done some customer service, you did yearbook, or you were in clubs. These are all things that are going to show a little bit about the types of skills that you have and experiences. And a lot of it is very relevant to the roles you'll be applying to. So again, you want to also tailor your resume. So if you're really interested in those customer service jobs, you're probably going to create a resume that is going to be more geared towards customer service. It's going to use some of those key skills that they're looking for that involve working with people. Make sure those bullets that you put underneath your different experiences are showcasing the ways that you've worked with people. So again, you want to think about, I know for a lot of students, you have one resume and you're just kind of shotgunning to all possible positions. You might get lucky and get an interview, but the ones that are going to stand out are the ones that are taking their time to tailor it. We, again, have a lot of workshops that we do here at the Career Center, including resume building. They are still being posted in Handshake, but be looking out for those. And again, there'll be opportunities for you also to attend those. And then we recommend, I'll get here to my next slide. We recommend having it being reviewed by someone. We do have folks here at the Career Center that can review it, but if you're not able to get in on time, having someone who has some professional experience to review your resume is always a good idea before you just start applying. So for Career Center services, we have career specialists that are assigned to each of the colleges and really have great, I think expertise in being able to help you with your job search. So here you'd be able to sign up for either in-person or virtual counseling appointments. And again, they can help you with your job search, looking more in depth at your resume, talking through some of those career goals. So you would request for that appointment via Handshake. And oops, apologies. Yeah, here is the link. I don't know why I thought I could click on it, that you could go to within Handshake to request it. Also, we have drop-in advising available. Those you do not need an appointment. You can come same day, and you can sign up at the front desk. You can call and get a 15-minute slot, and we have drop-in hours every day. So that would be, again, 15 minutes is short, but if you want a quick resume review, you need to ask some questions about how to access certain jobs or resources, they can be able to assist you with a variety of things. And then finally, say you did line up a couple interviews and you'd like to practice, we can also set up a mock interview with you. So those are the kind of things, that we would be happy to support you with here at the Career Center. All right, so the goal is we all want to get interviews and eventually get hired. So here are some things to note for that process. Dress appropriately. Again, if you're doing a Zoom interview, making sure, at least from, as I mentioned, if you are able, share be able to put your camera on from, what's visible in the screen, dress appropriately. Again, they know you're a student, but preferably don't be rolling out of bed. Show that you actually took some time to get ready that morning. Be mindful of noise and things in your environment that could be distracting. Maybe talk to your roommates or your parents or your dog and, try to work out some of those things on the front end. Make sure that you're reading the job description and preparing for questions. Be familiar. Again, for those of you who are kind of shotgunning your resume and you get an interview, you're like, I don't know what I applied for. Make a list of all the employers that you apply to as you go. And then when they respond, you're more likely to be more prepared and know what it is the types of questions that they might ask. Again, test your technology if you are doing a virtual interview. Be on time. I think that's a given. And then it's always a good idea to follow up with a thank you email. Again, those are the little things that really go far. I can tell you from having hired a lot of student assistants in my time, it's the students who kind of go the extra mile. They're very communicative with me when they're quick to respond. They take the time to write a good professional email. Those are the ones that stand out to me because those are the type of students that I'm looking for. So again, take the time to do the little things that will help you to stand out. And then one more thing as it relates to dress, we do have our professional career closet here on campus. I actually help to manage along with ASUCR. And that is a resource that's available to all students once you start here. So again, it's not open yet. It will be open that first Monday of the first full week of classes. And we'll have open hours posted, but you would get up to 3 professional attire items a quarter. So that is a resource for you all. If you happen to line up interviews once you're on campus and you need an outfit, please do take advantage of that resource. All right, so I'm going to turn it over to Alex to talk about the work study hiring process.
Thanks, Michelle. So once you go through an interview and are offered a job, this is kind of the process from there on to give you eligible to work. So the first step would be to fill out the work study new hire form, which can be found on the Career Center website or our financial aid website. You'll fill out some basic questions. It will ask you if you have a job description, which is the job posting on Handshake or not, and if you're working on or off campus. And from those answers that you give, then you will be giving a student employment contract. And so if you're on campus, you will, well, for on campus and off campus, you will attach a job description if you do have it, your worksite eligibility notification, and you and your employer will sign it, and then it will get sent to us in financial aid. And if you're on campus, then all you have to do as a student will just wait for your supervisor to tell you when you are cleared to work, and they will onboard you. This work study new hire form and the eligibility notification will show an example of that in a few slides. So if you're off-campus student, it starts out as the same process. You will also fill out the work study new hire form and get a student employment contract and attach a job description if you do have it, and the work study eligibility notification. But once it comes over to us after you sign it, you will be sent an onboarding packet from our FAST team, which you will then fill out because we will onboard you since you are off campus. And after you've sent that over to us again, you may be required to attend an I-9 appointment, which, especially if you have not worked an off-campus job before or an on-campus job. And then as a student, you will only have to wait for a letter of clearance that we will send you from financial aid to you and your employer that will give you permission to start working. So in the next few slides, I'll show you a little bit of examples of what those forms I've talked about, what they will look like. So this is the work study new hire form, which you can find on the Career Center website or our financial aid website. And so when you are offered a job and this is where you will go and start to fill out some of that information, where you can talk about if you have a job description or not, and if you are on campus or off campus. And then from those answers, then you will be sent the student employment contract, which you will fill out then. And then if you go to the next couple of slides. So this is the work study eligibility notification. This is something even before you get interviewed. This is a good sheet to fill out, sheet to bring out to your employer because this is proving that you are work study eligible, and it will show the offer amount that you have. And we will also require you to attach this to your student employment contract to prove to us that you also do have work study. And that link can be found on this slide. And if you fill out the student employment contract, it also can be found there, so you can attach it directly. And then in the next slide is an example of a job description in Handshake. You may or may not have this. If you don't have it, then your employer will have to attach it to the student employment contract. But if you do have it, this is kind of what it will look like, and you will attach it directly. The most important things that we need to see is that it says work study in the job title to prove that it is a work study job, and the work study position classification, whether it be like a federal work study position or if you're a tutor or anything along those lines, so we can see exactly what space you're working in. And something we really need to see also is the job roles that you will be performing, so we can see what kind of job you are performing and that it matches the correct identification of the position pool ID. And then this is only for off-campus work study positions. So if you're on campus, then this is something you don't need to look at. But if you're an off-campus work study position, after you go through the onboarding process through us, this is the letter of clearance that us and financial aid will send to both you and your employer to show that you have gone through this whole process and now you are eligible to work and they can start scheduling you and your hours. And then now I'm going to talk about a little bit of the timesheets that you're going to be filling out. On campus and off campus can be slightly different, or they could be the same. It just depends on your specific supervisor. So next slide, please. So you will be paid bi-weekly, which is every other week. If you're on campus position, it could be using the UCR timesheet, but you also could be using a different procedure depending on what your employer would like. So if you are working on campus job, it's best to speak to your employer to see what kind of timesheet that they would like you to fill out. But if you are off campus, you will only submit on the UCR timesheet bi-weekly, and then your supervisor will approve. The most important thing for this slide is that you have to keep track of the hours, because you may or may not know, you are awarded a specific allocation, generally $2,000. And so you are not allowed to go over that allocation. So when you are working, you are getting this allocation and award is getting decreased at every time you get paid. So you have to keep track to make sure that you don't go over that amount. So the best way to see how many hours you're going to work, you would look at your federal work study award, see how much money you've been offered, and then once you get a job, the rate that your supervisor has assigned you to take the award, divide that by the rate, and then that will show you how many hours you are generally eligible to work. And then this is just some information about your wages and some other information. So this is more for like the financial aid wellness program, which we have on campus, which if you are interested in any budget information or learning about credit, like to deal with your credit or investing, you can go to financial aid, go.ucr.edu/finwell to look at some financial aid workshops where you can talk about things like your wages and what a W-4 is and what a W-2 is. So yeah.
And that's important because as you are able to get a job, if it's the first time you've ever had a job, whatever you earn as your gross wages, that's not how much you actually take home and get paid in return, because there's things like deductions and taxes that are taken out. So we just want you to be mindful that, if this is, especially if this is your first job, that, if you're working a job that pays you $16 per hour and you work 10 hours, you're not going to exactly get that dollar amount that you would get, because it's all those deductions. So understanding your gross wages and your net pay is important. The W-4 is a IRS tax form that also needs to be filled out, and that typically happens during the onboarding process. So during that onboarding process, either with your on or off campus employer, when you go through that, you will make a choice on how much you want removed from each of your paychecks so that it could go towards taxes. Sometimes this dollar amount is relatively small based on how much you're earning and how many hours you as a work study student are working. It would be probably pretty a small amount. The W-4 is going to be a document that's also for the IRS, but this is something that UCR will produce to record the wages that you earned from now in October, or starting late September, October to December. And so you as an employee will then get that document, usually just online. They don't mail them off anymore, so you would just have to go online to be able to retrieve it, usually through UC Path, which is a different kind of portal that you all will learn about. And that's where you'll be able to see how much you earned for the calendar year of 2023, and then decide if it's something that you have to file taxes on. And then, as Alex was saying, just the very last one. So we do have a financial wellness program on campus. If you're interested in learning more about more of the personal finance things, or if you need some help related to your financial aid, just kind of understanding it a little bit more. But we do host workshops about budget, crediting, credit scores, credit cards, all the stuff that maybe you thought you could have learned in high school or earlier, but we'll do some programming about it. So check out our Instagram account so you could see when we have those workshops.
All right, so we are getting towards the end. So I did want to, again, just nudge you all. If you do have questions, go ahead and start putting them in the chat. We just have a couple final slides here. So who to contact? Because I would imagine many of you might have questions. So if you have questions regarding your work study allocation and pay, or even timesheets for those who are going to work off campus, as well as anything related to just paychecks, you can follow up with financial aid, and that would be finaid@ucr.edu. Actually, Monica, I might have you put that in the chat as well. And then for Career Center, again, if you are needing support with just your job search, interview prep, resume, anything that's going to help you to get ready for the job to make a great first impression, that's what we are here for, to help. Again, navigating Handshake, those kinds of things. The Career Center is here to support. And the best way to contact us is going to be at careercenter at ucr.edu. I don't know. Yes, I'm going to put that in the chat here. Okay. Perfect. There are emails we just mentioned. All right, so some quick announcements as well. We have a student employment fair coming up. This is going to be the day before classes officially begin. It's going to be on September 27th here on campus at the Hub, from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. We are planning on seeing close to 20 different departments/employers that will be attending. And we are highly encouraging you all to attend. Many of them are looking for work study students. So again, you're really being a work study student kind of gives you a little bit of an edge, because it does benefit departments to hire work study students, because there is a cost share for them as well. So they're going to be really interested in meeting you. So if those of you who maybe you've been on Handshake and you've been applying and you haven't been able to land a job yet, I highly encourage you to plan to be there on Wednesday. It is currently on Handshake, and I will put that link in the chat here in a moment. And if you are also, we're going to send out these slides in the recording after our session today. There is a QR code here that gives you a quick glimpse on who is currently registered to attend. I will say this, there's going to be on-campus departments as well as some local off-campus departments. Again, not all are going to be work study. And some of those off-campus departments just have part-time jobs. So this is inclusive for our work study and non-work study community, but a great place for you to be. All right. And then we just want to also make you all aware of some resources that you have in addition to the Finwell workshop series that Monica had mentioned. You also are eligible for CalFresh, which also provides you with fresh food, and there is some different, you would be able to go into the Scotty's convenience store and be able to access if you've been able to opt into those benefits. So again, I would, to learn more about what those resources are on campus, you would go to the Basic Needs website. And you can also email them at the email below. There is also a Loan to Learn program for those of you who maybe don't have access to a laptop or computer for your needs. You would be able to check that out through the ITS website. Again, Loan number 2 Learn is the name of the program, and also just wanting to make you all aware. And then here are some ways to connect with us. We are on Instagram, and we have a lot of opportunities coming. So we are absolutely here to support you all to be ready to get those experiences that you need to succeed, to be able to pay the bills, and to have a meaningful experience during your time here at UCR. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and stop recording.